I would like to go ahead and start the meeting. I'd like to start by introducing our speaker today. He is Carl Tipton from Red Suitcase Ministry, and I have some information about Red Suitcase. They provide 4 different areas of assistance for individuals in the Seminole County area: financial, people who need help with things like a rent bill or a power bill or what have you. I'm sure that's becoming very necessary with the things that are going on right now. Some people are just, rents are going up like crazy. Material branch was a warehouse with things, home furnishings and whatnot, services, volunteers for people who provide labor, and employment to help people find jobs. This is the work of, I just had the information up, I'm sorry. He was born and raised in Sanford, Florida, spent 4 years in Kentucky playing college football. Upon returning home, he became a Seminole County Sheriff's deputy and also coached youth football. After 6 years working the road, he was transferred to the juvenile division. While in the juvenile division, he worked with the juvenile probation, the DARE program, and the school resource program. I can tell you, as somebody who has worked as a defense attorney and a prosecutor in the juvenile system, these services are so essential. And that's one I'll get more in a second. In 2001, Mr. Tipton became Lake Mary High School's resource deputy. He started coaching high school sports, including football, girls lacrosse, and girls weightlifting. In 2016, after 25 years, he retired from law enforcement and became a high school teacher at his alma mater, Seminole High, as well as Lake Mary High School the next year. In 2018, he returned to law enforcement because he said it was easier than being a teacher. In 2020, he met a homeless elderly veteran on the streets of Sanford and was able to fundraise for him to purchase an RV for him to live in. That's inspired the nonprofit Red Suitcase Ministry, which is a community organization trying to supply the needs of Seminole County citizens. And with that, I will turn the floor over to Carl, and thank you for coming.
You're welcome. Thank you. It's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Tell us a little bit about Red Suitcase Ministry.
Okay, like you said there at the end of the of that little bio, it was just a July day in downtown Sanford, lunchtime in 2020, and I'd finished eating lunch with my family. I was walking down First Street. I saw a elderly man sitting in the cubby of a closed down business. He was sitting on his walker. He had a big red roller suitcase next to him, a tattered Bible next to him, and he was well kept. He was well groomed. He was clean, and it appeared like he was waiting on somebody to pick him up, like to go to the airport or something. So it struck me right away that he actually reminded me of my grandfather. So right away I was prompted to ask him if he needed any help or if he was a ride or something. And he said no, he was fine. He just was hanging out, and he said he was homeless. Said he'd been homeless for 2 years. He said he was a veteran, Army veteran from the 60s Vietnam era, and that he'd been homeless for 2 years and just kind of hung out in downtown Sanford. He said that he had a good income every month. He got income from Social Security and the VA. Said that but he only wanted to spend around $400 a month towards rent, and he couldn't find any place, so he just would rather just live on the streets and sleep on the park bench at the lakefront. So I was like, no, there's no way I'm going to let this happen. This guy, there's no way there's got to be somebody I know that can rent him a room for $400 a month. So I took a quick picture of him without him knowing. Got to my truck. I posted the picture on Facebook, and I just simply said, hey, does anybody have a room to rent? Elderly, homeless veteran. Well, within hours, there was an outpouring of people that wanted to help. I didn't know anything about Facebook fundraisers at that time. I set up a quick fundraiser. By that night, we had a couple $1,000s because I told him that I would do anything I could to help him, even financially. So at the same time, I had a couple that contacted me the same evening, and they run Jesus Over the Road ministry, Blessings of Jesus Over the Road ministry out of Sanford. And they used to do a lot of transport to disaster areas. And they also have a little portion of land that they renovate RVs, and they house homeless. Not that many, maybe 3 or 4. And they told me that they had an elderly veteran that just had passed away. Sorry, someone's at my door. And that they were actually looking for somebody to take his spot, and so they said that they charged $500 a month And I'm sorry. And that hey, Joe, I'm in the middle of something, son. I'm on a call. All right, watch out. You want to come in and sit down for a second? You need to come in and sit for a second? Sorry, one of my youth that I mentor.
No problem.
Anyways, they said they would be happy to take him in, and it was almost like he was being replaced. Like God was, because they were really close to this gentleman that passed away, and this was almost like God was giving them somebody else to take his place, to take their mourning away. And so I said, okay, great. I will, if this fundraiser will add the addition $100 a month that he can't afford for however long we need to do it. And so I set out the next day, that Saturday morning, to go find, his name is Richard, to find Richard, to tell him that I found him a place. So I set out with my sister, one of my friends from church. Took us about an hour. We couldn't find him. Got into the backside of, if you're familiar with Sanford, the Civic Center sits on the lakefront. I saw him after an hour looking for him, I saw him on the steps with his red suitcase. Looked like he was waking up and getting ready for his day. And I got out of the truck. I approached him. I told him, hey, you remember me from yesterday? I told him I was Deputy Tipton, to let him know that he could trust me, because I told him the day before that I was a sheriff's deputy. He was a little bit hesitant, and he remembered me. And I said, hey, Richard, I found you a place to live. It's $400 a month. It's a little small RV. It's kind of old and run down, but it's a great, it's $500 a month. But like I said, I will take care of the $100 a month extra. So he agreed to check it out. So we put him in my truck. We drove him down there. He met Thomas and Penny Shipe, who owned the property. Had a great meeting with them. Checked out the RV. He said he tried out. It faced a little pond. It was real pretty, nice little piece of property out on the west end of Sanford, northwest Sanford. And he stayed the night. The next, I was praying really hard. The next night, I picked him up to go to church with me, because he said he wanted to go to church with me, and he said he liked it, and he said he would stay. So I was like, oh, this is awesome. Well, so I had a great day with him. Got to know him a little bit that day, but the outpouring and the community kept pouring in, because we were in the middle of COVID, and people they were kind of stuck in their homes for all these months, and they wanted to do something to help for like a feel-good story. So we ended up raising $20,000 by the end of that week. And so now I said, well, heck, and the trailer is old and run down and small. I said, well, let me see if I can find him a newer RV and to put on his property. And because Thomas and Penny said that would be fine. So we set out also on Facebook to find a new RV for him. And within a few days, there's a Vietnam veteran that his mother had just passed away, and she was living in a nice, beautiful, I think only a few-year-old RV out in Kissimmee, and that he was selling his, but he felt led by God to sell it to us and not really make any profit. And so we checked it out, I think that next Saturday, and it was great. So we purchased it. Another people off Facebook volunteered to transport it, and another company, I can't remember the name of it, is a land clearing. They put it on the land, and they anchored it down for us, hooked everything up. And then now the news had called on to this, channel 35, channel 926, everybody called onto the story, and they all did a story on it. And then channel 35 was there for the grand opening or not grand opening, but like the ribbon cutting ceremony to give him his RV. And so I was getting interviewed by channel 35. I said, hey, this has just been amazing this past week and a half. Just the community outpouring for a homeless elderly veteran, wanting to help him, find him a place to live. And there's just so much stuff poured in, all kinds of help for him. I said, yeah, I don't know. This is going to inspire me to start a nonprofit. I already have a name, because he was living out of his red suitcase. We'll call it the Red Suitcase Ministry. And who knows, maybe we'll do stuff like this in the community. I just kind of said that out just flippantly. Well, within a few weeks, the mantle for me had already been set by God, and people started contacting me when they knew somebody needed help. As a matter of fact, weeks later, there was a homeless guy living in a tent in Sanford, and lo and behold, this has to be a God thing. There was a red suitcase next to his tent. So right away I got with Thomas and Penny, and they took him in. The RV that Richard was originally in was now available for him. And so they put him up in that RV. So kind of the process started. And then I decided to start the organization, the nonprofit Red Suitcase Ministry. I found a team of people that have the same kind of heart that I have. My vice president, Beatrice Manley, she had been doing the same kind of thing in the community, helping people for years. And so she was right away somebody I brought on, and a businessman, a pastor. My 3 kids I brought them on. A counselor. So we just brought in a group of 6 or 7 people. We started it. We applied to become a nonprofit 501c3. Recently, we just got approved. And in that time, since we just, like I said, we just basically started this March of 2021 after about 8 months after meeting Richard. And so since then, since March, we've done what we call them community blessing missions, CBMs. And we go out, and so we have a website now, redsuitcaseministry.com. We have a Facebook page, and we just wait to get a need, and a need will come in through a phone call or through a email or through a message on Facebook. And then we vet it, because there's a lot of people that just want money, and we don't just give out money, or we just don't, because right now the first 8-9 months we fundraise. We don't have any money coming in from any kind of grant. So we just, when we get a project, we fundraise for it. And so, for example, we've probably done 12 or 13 CBMs, ranging from helping a family that had a farm out in Osteen that their air conditioner went out because the animals got under the trailer and ate up all the tubing. Blessing them with all the way to a single mom, 4 kids in an apartment, working 3 jobs, no furniture. We furnished her apartment. To another couple that has, I believe, 8 kids, that took in their 4 of their kids that were orphans, that were a sister who had passed away, and they needed beds. So we fundraised, and we got them a set of I think 8 bunk beds. Okay, son. To just recently blessing an elderly woman out in Winter Park that needed a washing machine. To trying right now our project, we tried to, sometimes our projects don't go through, like we don't raise enough money. Like we had a project we wanted to fix a truck for the Blessing Over the Road Ministry, so they can start taking supplies to Kentucky when those tornado hits, but that didn't really pan out. And right now we're in the middle of our project we're doing. There's a woman that's disabled. She has 4 sons. Her kitchen's falling apart. The floor is falling down. We want to help renovate that. So but anyway, so where we're at right now as a ministry, as a nonprofit, is we're in the process of writing our first grant. There's a lot of grants out there. The biggest need we see in the Seminole County, Volusia County area is homelessness. Somebody that's down on their luck, they probably have income, but they can't find any place to live because you have to have a credit score and a down payment. So right now we're in the process. We're going to apply for a couple of grants. One, we want to try to get, like you said, she mentioned, we have a 4-branch to our ministry: financial, material, employment, and service. Well, we want to get a warehouse. So there's a grant we're trying to get where we can purchase a warehouse, storehouse, and because we have so many people that want to give us things, but my garage can't fit nothing. So usually if we get a donation, we just take it from person A, and we're the middle person to give it to the person in need. But we'd love to have a warehouse we can store stuff, so that when a need comes up, we can just deliver it. Also, we want to get a grant for homelessness and really be available to maybe do a first month's rent, second month's rent, so deposit, get people into some place where they can live, start them off where they can live. So we want to definitely help with homelessness. A crazy vision that God brought to me was to try to, I don't know if you've heard of the Dream Center out of Los Angeles International Church. They have an old hospital they renovated. And kind of a crazy vision was that we would get the New Tribes Mission Hotel building on the lakefront and renovate that into a dream center or something like that. So that would be amazing if we could come up with a hotel style old that's been vacant and set that up for homelessness and for addiction, people that are addicted who beat their addictions, human trafficking, homeless families, all kinds of stuff. So If you have never heard of the Dream Center, I would really suggest you look at that, because that's what they do in Los Angeles is amazing. So anyways, that's where we are right now. We just, like I said, we just look for projects. We're just building off. We're trying to build what we said we set out to do with these branches. And then we're going to start applying for grants this year. And that'll help us with what we do. So that's it in a nutshell.
Okay. Now, as far as and I'm sure you thought of this one, as far as a resource that can probably both lead you to possible services and to possible people who need help, is the American Legion. Have you been in touch with them?
Never heard to do that. No.
They provide a lot of services for veterans, and a lot of veterans really feel secure because, you know, I mean, I get in American Legion's auxiliary because my dad was in the Army. My husband gets in Sons of the American Legion because he's his mother was in the military, and they put on events. They have a beautiful hall. If you get to a place where you can't find a warehouse, they might be able to help you. You know, on little things. I don't know, but but they'd be a good resource for you. But people can donate on the Facebook page, I presume. Do you have any sort of events you put on?
Well, they have to donate through the website. There's a donate page on our website, not on the Facebook page. And what was your second question? I'm sorry.
Do you have any fundraising events?
Well, right now we don't put on fundraising events per se. What we do is, like, we had a toy drive for Christmas. That was just toys. What we do is our CBMs, our community blessing missions, we always create a particular fundraiser for that mission. So right now we're trying to raise $5,000 for this disabled, unemployed mother with 4 sons to redo her kitchen. We haven't really been that successful with our fundraiser to do anything yet, but we hope to, maybe with a grant that we qualify for a community help grant, we can use that money to do this for this woman, to get her kitchen back in working order for these kids. So that's, yeah, but we have our donation. We're always taking in anybody that wants to donate to a nonprofit charitable donation. We do that through our website. So,
and
as far as veterans of foreign wars, anyone who served in a foreign war, VFWs help with that. Okay. The American Legion might be someone who has served at any time, but the veterans of foreign wars, VFWs, they work specifically with someone who has actually served abroad, or even if they were in another military from another that served in another country.
Okay, interesting. Good. It's good to make contacts. That's great.
Now, definitely. Our HT sign that you see behind me here, that's the signal that got the award. My campaign, I have it in 14 languages, and I can get you the digital images with your email that okay. You can share. And the homeless and the non-homeless need to know it. And okay. That is especially important to help them get themselves rescued, or to rescue someone who's in a bad situation.
Yeah, definitely. Great.
A lot of the police departments and the military are using it to recognize a situation.
Nice. That's awesome. Very good.
Anybody else have any questions for Carl?
To get you access to some of the grants, if you get on Representative Deming's email list,
okay,
she sends out every month the list of available grants.
Yeah, I've heard about that. I haven't been on there yet. We are looking for somebody to grant write for us, and we have some money set aside to pay somebody to grant write for us. So that's kind of what we're looking for right now, rather than try to take that on myself, because I've never done that before. But yeah, definitely. We had somebody that gave us referrals, so we're starting that process. We're just at very early stages of grant writing.
And you can also get people. I used to write grants for at the federal level and the state level. And what okay. You can do is get them to get paid on the back end instead of paying them up front.
Oh, wow.
Only if they actually get the grant, that they
Right.
get some money.
like
And so that gives them the incentive. A lot of people will just write and write and write and write and never write good enough to get you money.
Oh, wow. That's a good point.
And so, or they're not good, they don't know how to write, and so they just write and write and write and get paid for writing it and never achieve anything. So and you can also go onto something like Nextdoor, and they have volunteer programs, or on Facebook they have looking for help, and you can say, hey, I'm looking for a grant writer.
Oh, okay.
Okay, but make sure you don't get it where you're paying them up front. Get it on a
good.
back end,
Okay.
a back end incentive, so that they're not out there getting money. And that's where you're going to get ripped off on a community service project, is if you're looking for a grant writer who wants to get paid up front.
Okay, good. Thank you. That's great. That's great advice.
That
Yeah.
is. Thank you for that, Phyllis. Anybody else have any questions for Carl at this time? No? Okay. All righty. Well, I want to thank you for coming by and visiting with us, and hopefully we'd love it if you join. We're a quiet little group, but we're powerful.